Okay, guys, welcome to the Quizalize Professional Development. So, why Quizalize? Why are we doing this? Well, Quizalize is a great way to gather data, and based on our needs assessment, we said that we needed to find more ways to gather data on students, particularly in the remote environment that we find ourselves in. Plus, our school goals from our school improvement plan call for a 5% increase in proficiency for EOG scores, particularly in areas of math and ELA/reading. Okay, so our opening activity. What tech tools do you use and why? What do you do with them? Okay, just think about that for a second. Jot them down. Think of the best tech tools you use and jot them down. Then share them with your people at your table. It might be a grade level, it might be some buddies you're sitting with. Then take a few, at least one, and find another use for it. Take one from a friend and find another use for it. Teachers are the best pirates. Don't reinvent the wheel. Work smarter and not harder. Trust me, they would take something from you. So take an idea from them. So we've got two basic learning goals with Quizalize. We're going to understand the basic functions of it. There's adding standards, there's timing. You can set the timer to give kids extended time. There's a read aloud function, text to speech. There's a Quizlet export or import, however you want to look at it, that you can import stuff from Quizlet into Quizalize. And we're also going to create our own assessment. Those are our two main goals. Again, understand basic functions and create an assessment. So, think of your favorite online assessment tools that you typically use. Jot those down and share those out with people at your table. Tell what features they have. Can you adjust the time? Can it read it aloud to students? What subject areas do you use it in? Can you gather data with it, formative data or summative data, either one? Nothing wrong with summative. I use it for both. Particularly, I use Quizalize for formative assessments, but again, I have used it for summative as well. And I know a lot of people that primarily use it for summative. So, are you familiar with Socrative and Quizlet? Most of you are, because I've done PDs on Socrative and Quizlet. It's very similar. It's also similar to Quiz. If you can combine all of them together, you would get Quizalize. That's what I tell people. Very, very similar. If you can use one, you can use the other. So, what am I going to get out of this? Well, you get a great tool for formative assessment. I've mentioned that earlier. You get instant student mastery, and you can get differentiated follow-up activities. And you can set these up for special needs students with the timing feature and the read aloud feature. And there's a picture feature as well. You can tag these to standards. So the research and data. Research shows that formative assessment is associated with major gains in student achievement across all ages and subjects, and has its greatest positive impact on students who struggle in mathematics. Formative assessment is a great way to gauge what kids are understanding and to gather data. Computer games, when used as learning tools, can increase student performance in academic areas such as science, engineering design, mathematics, and 21st century skills. Again, mathematics is one of our areas that we've got to show proficiency or increase proficiency. So here's an activity. In one sentence or more, I know some of you like to write. In one sentence or more, what do you hope to learn from this PD? Just jot it down. You can email, whatever. You know I'm not too picky. Okay, so let's talk about the data piece for a second in Quizalize. And I'm going to let Quizalize explain it to you.
Welcome to Quizalize. Quizalize is a fun, gamified, formative assessment tool that helps teachers better understand how their students are doing in class. This includes mastery dashboards to give you an instant, in-depth view into student mastery measured against topics and skills within your curriculum. So how does it work? Teachers can find curriculum-tagged quizzes or create their own for students to complete in class or as homework. Each tagged quiz generates a large volume of student data that our mastery dashboards aggregate and analyze. You can see which skills or topics students have not yet mastered, or which students need more help than others, enabling teachers to make effective and targeted interventions. Quizalize also has built-in differentiation to assign appropriate follow-up activities to different groups of students and help teachers evaluate the efficacy of their learning resources. And as long as quizzes are tagged to your curriculum, student performance data will aggregate over time into your mastery dashboard, providing immediate understanding of student mastery to boost student achievement and facilitate best pedagogical practices.
Okay, so you saw about the data, and I'm going to show you where to find the data when we do the 3 curriculum pieces to this presentation. I've got an ELA curriculum piece, I've got a social studies curriculum piece, and I got a math curriculum piece. In the social studies, I'm going to show you the data collection tool. So right now, we're going to actually go to the Quizalize website. And I sent this to you in the emails, quizalize.com. Some of you are already on your email. Go ahead and click onto that. We're going to go to teacher login. And folks, it's going to ask you to sign in a certain way, like with Facebook or Google. Sign in with Google, your Google account. Because if you're on your school Chromebook, which most of you are, just sign in with Google. And it'll be linked to your Google account here at school. It just makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I'm at my resources now. Under Discover, if I go under Discover, there's a whole plethora of stuff, all different subject areas: math, science, ELA, social studies, foreign language, current events, and there's old release tests. Again, working smarter and not harder. You can pick any of these. You can look through them, see what's something you can use, and you can use it immediately. You don't have to invent anything if you don't want to. Now, for this purpose, we are going to come up with our own little tool. It's not going to be hard. It's not going to be anything in depth. Okay? It's just, I just want you to know how to use it if you want to. All right. So the first thing, I'm going to go into my library because I've got some quizzes I've made up, some things I've imported from Quizlet, like I mentioned. The first one's the night quiz. That's our ELA piece, our ELA curriculum. Okay, I came up with this with a 9th grade teacher and and somewhat in conjunction with a 7th grade teacher. And the feature I'm going to show you on the night quiz, this is the quiz questions and the answer choices. Or it's a test, actually. But I'm going to show you the read aloud. Notice I can assign this as homework if I wanted to. I can share it out as a link. Well, for some reason, it's wanting to go slow all of a sudden. Tell you what, we'll close out of it and try it again. Teacher log in. My resources. My library. Night. And notice again, I can share this out and give it as homework, but I want to edit it. There we go. Now, notice I've got it titled up here. I've got it linked to my standards, and I'm going to show you how to do this when we create our own. I'm going to show you how to use the read aloud feature. Text to speech, if you will. Okay. Its default setting is not to be on text to speech. So I'm editing my first question, and I want it to be text to speech. And I can set all of them like this if I want to. I'm not going to, but I could. I've already set that one. Turn it off. I'll turn it back on. You get the picture. Okay, so here's how it works.
Anguish, fatigue, nausea.
There you go. It read the choices to us. I'm not sure why it's not reading that.
Agonizing physical or mental pain.
There it goes. It read the question that time. Okay. So that's that option, the read aloud function. We'll close out. Not going to save anything else. Now I'm going to look at the math. And the math, we're going to go over the timing feature. Okay, notice these are standard based. Go down here just like before, edit question. You can even do a class game. I'm not going to do that. Notice I've titled it, got the standards. I want to change the time. It's 300 seconds or 5 minutes. Okay, I can do 30 seconds. I can do 45 seconds. I can do 2 minutes. I would suggest, and you don't have to have each question, the same amount of time for each one. But I like this, just much like the read aloud option, because as a former special ed teacher, tools like this would have really helped me out back 20 years ago. Didn't have all these options then. But I do. I try to push these out to teachers now so that they've got all the tools in the toolbox that they might need. And again, you just go to edit the question and tell how much time you want to give the kid or kids on that question. Okay? So that's all you would do there. You can add pictures if you want to. You can add some audio. Let's close out. All right. Activity time. At your table, just write down or on your email, whatever, and you can send this to me. Write down ways you think you can use Quizalize, ways you think that you could use it. What curriculum? Could you use it for special needs kids? There's a lot of different ways you can use this. So let's look at U.S. History Review 1. This is our social studies. We've done a math curriculum. We've done ELA curriculum. Now we're going to go into social studies curriculum. U.S. History 1 Review. Okay, takes me here to my quiz, test, if you will. All right. You can look at their standard based. The quiz is tagged to a standard and individual questions are tagged to standards. Okay. So you go here to mastery. North Carolina Standard Course of Study. Remember the video you saw. Okay. It had student names on the left-hand side. It had scores out beside them, and it had little graphs running along the top showing whether or not the standard was mastered by what student. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, since I don't have any kids in class right now and I am in a tech support role, there's no students for me to show you, but I can show you the page that kind of what the page looks like. You'd have your different standards running across the top up here, the different mastery levels for each standard, and individual student scores run through here. And student names, of course, are over here. Okay, now we'll transition to our hands-on activity. Yep, we got another activity. Actually, we're going to kind of combine a few activities into one here. We're going to create a quiz, our own quiz, and we're going to create another one from using the Quizlet export option. Okay, so let's do our new quiz first. Actually, take that back. I got ahead of myself. I wanted to play a game with you. I want to show you how the game worked. That's going to be our first hands-on activity. Let's just come on down here to order of operations. Okay. Notice there's standards that go along with this. We're going to play this quiz, kind of like a student view. Notice how the timer's ticking right here. And folks, you're going to see that some of these answers are obvious. Okay, you can make the answers as challenging or as non-challenging as you want them to be. Okay, I'm simply doing this as a demonstration. Okay, so you get the picture here. That's what it looks like. Let's create a quiz. Create our own. And we'll call this, I'm going to call mine classroom example. You call yours whatever you want. You can align it to a standard. You can upload an image if you want to. I come down here to North Carolina Standard Course of Study. Just do American History 2, high school. Submit. Okay. Now I'm just going to start adding questions. That's all I got to do now. Is add questions. All right. Let's see what's a good who was president of the U.S. during the Civil War. And I would just put my correct answer. Now again, you can make up your own. And I can do text to speech if I want for this question. And I can add more or less time. Might just give them 20 seconds. I'll add a new question. So you just take time, come up with questions on your own. Just 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. Okay, now, so we played a little game, showed you what it looked like, made your own. We're going to do another quiz, except this time we're going to use the Quizlet export. Now again, I've already pulled this one up, so I'm kind of ahead of you here. But I'll tell you what. Let's just look at Vietnam. Okay. So here's some Vietnam quizzes, terms you can use. A lot. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just find this. Let's just take this Vietnam era part 2 terms. Click it. Hover over the yellow dots here and go to export. Make sure the tab and new line are highlighted. They are. Copy text, Control C. Go back to Quizalize. Import from Quizlet. Control V. Submit. And that's all you got to do. If you want to add, you just call it Vietnam. And you can align it to a standard if you wish. Make sure you put your foils in. There's a lot of them, so might be there a while. But that's how you do it. It's pretty simple. Okay, to recap, learn the basic functions of Quizalize. We learned how to create an assessment. We learned about the read aloud function. We learned the timing function. We learned how to add standards and tag standards to the quiz and the question as a whole. We created an assessment, and we also created an assessment using the Quizlet export. So why do I like Quizalize? Well, like I said, as a former special needs teacher, I wished I would have had this read aloud function available to me then. Okay. I also really like the Quizlet export. I appreciate the way that they have online tutors available to chat with you if you have any problems. Now for our exit ticket. Your name. What's one important thing you learned today that you feel like that stood out to you? Okay, now we got a couple quiz type questions. You can export activities from Quizlet into Quizalize, yes or no. Where do you click to create a quiz in Quizalize? This one's pretty obvious, I think. And I feel comfortable creating a quiz in Quizalize. And what would help make today's lesson more effective? And again, feel free to put whatever you want. I'm not thin-skinned. And as always, folks, if I can help you in any way, please let me know. I'm an email away, phone call away, stop by and see me away, whatever, guys. You know I'm here to help you. So just please, please, please stop by whenever you need help.